What is up, awesome people of the internet? Guys, happy Monday, and welcome to another edition of Quita in the Mornings. My name is Quita. We are in the mornings, and we're going to have a good time talking about some women's hoops. So make sure to grab your coffee, grab your tea, grab your water, and let's get to talking basketball. Guys, on deck today, we got a quick recap of the week that was in the WNBA. We're going to talk about hardship contracts. We're going to talk about where certain players are and a whole lot more. But first, let's actually begin with this. Actually, I want to give a huge shout out to Esther. Thank you so much to Esther for being a member. Esther just became a member of the channel. Thank you for doing that. I really do appreciate membership on this channel. Really does help financially support this thing and make it happen. Okay, let's get to it. No, that's not the graphic I wanted to pull up. There we go. This is the graphic I wanted to pull up. Hardship season has arrived. The WNBA is officially in grind mode. And if you know what that means, well, you know it means hardship season is here. Injuries are stacking up. Benches are starting to get shorter and shorter and shorter. And now we are seeing a whole wave of WNBA level talent get called back to the league that they once had a chance to be in. Now, if only for a while, they will be back temporarily, and we'll see what happens from here. But here's the thing, don't sleep on hardship contracts because these are some of the most emotional, high-stakes, high-reward moments in an entire season. Who a team picks up on a hardship contract can make or break the trajectory of not even that team, not just that team, but also in terms of individual players as well. So let's break down how it works and who's getting signed and what this means for Indiana, Phoenix, LA, and a whole lot of other teams in the WNBA. Okay? First up, you all may be wondering, okay, what in the world is a hardship contract? Well, a hardship contract lets a team temporarily go over their cap in terms of players on their roster, and also the salary cap as well. If they've got fewer than 10 healthy players, they can ring the bell. They can ring the bell on a hardship contract. So the league has a maximum of 12 players on rosters, and they have a brutal summer schedule. Most of these players are playing also in the offseason as well. And with 44 games happening in just a few short months, this means not a lot of rest and recovery time. Linda says, please explain how the Commissioner's Cup works. I will explain that after the segment. So if you wait about 20-ish minutes, we'll get to it, okay? Thank you for that. I figured some people would have some questions about it, so I wanted to make sure to have some time to go through that. So we will talk about the Commissioner's Cup, okay? Okay, all right. So anyway, the WNBA has only 12 roster spots maximum for teams. And again, brutal summer schedule, so, you know, the deals that are made for the for hardship contracts are short-term deals, right? As soon as the injured players end up returning, the hardship player then has to get released. But here's the deal. If you ball out during that window, well, it could reshape the future of your WNBA career. But let's talk specifics about what's happening right now, and then we'll also take a look back at what happened last year and talk about how impactful a hardship contract truly is. Okay, let's go through it. First up, we're going to talk about the Indiana Fever, and we're going to talk about how the Indiana Fever are hurting real bad, right? This team is a team that came into the WNBA with 11 players on their roster, and here's the deal. They got 3 players that are down. So, emergency mode activated for the Indiana Fever. Caitlin Clark is out with a quad strain until for the next 2 games until at least June the 9th. That already puts them at 10 players. And so then in one game, you lose 2 players. You lose Sydney Colson and you lose Sophie Cunningham. You lose your backup. You lose your backup point guard, and you also lose your shooting guard that was playing the backup to the backup point guard. And, one with a leg injury in Sydney Colson, one with an aggravated ankle injury, and this puts the Indiana Fever at 8 healthy bodies. Which means, yes, they are eligible for a hardship contract exception. So, now, the Indiana Fever has to figure out what to do next, right? They want to get a player who can be a point guard, someone who can play defense, someone who can help others get into the correct offensive sets. And you may be like, oh, that's simple. There's a lot of players out there that you can get. And there are. But again, this is the Indiana Fever team who has a lot of future aspirations in terms of the playoffs, and you have to make sure that you are not just picking somebody who can just plug in like right away, but also someone who can actually help your team get to where they need to go. Now, here's the deal. If I am the Indiana Fever's GM, I'm looking at several players, right? I'm looking at Letitia Amihere, right? That may feel kind of out there, but she's long, she's versatile, she can defend, she's young, and she has experience playing point guard. I would think about Grace Berger, someone who was on the team last year, someone who was with the Minnesota Lynx in preseason but ultimately got waived, someone who can plug in and be a pretty decent point guard for the time being for your team. I'm thinking about a player like a possible Cheyenne Sellers, someone who was drafted, who was a point guard / shooting guard last year with Maryland, someone who was drafted, somebody who can be a point guard, but the con about Cheyenne Sellers is when we saw her play in preseason, she didn't look good because she didn't look healthy. Now, we're a couple of weeks removed from that. Does she have a chance? I don't know. That's a question mark. So there's some players that I'm thinking about that could possibly slot in, but it just depends on how everything works, right? And also, you can't ignore a player like a Jaelyn Brown who already went through training camp with the Indiana Fever and knows the system, right? You basically need somebody who's ready yesterday, right? And Jaelyn Brown does kind of fit that bill. And so there's a lot of question marks on what exactly the Indiana Fever will do. Now, the Indiana Fever are not the only team that you have to think about when it comes to hardship contracts, because here's the deal, guys. Here's the deal. Actually, Deuce says Bree Hall. I don't actually think they would go for Bree Hall because they do need someone who could possibly play a point guard position. And so that's why I don't think Bree Hall. David, how can they get Kate Martin? Kate Martin's already on the team. They need a hardship contract. All right. Molly says Aerial Powers. Now, here's the deal. Aerial Powers is a hooper. She is. And they do need a point guard. Aerial Powers is not a point guard. However, Aerial Powers is, in terms of like top players who are available right now, Aerial Powers is a big-time talent. She's a big-time WNBA talent that is not currently in the league. But again, they need someone who could possibly play the point guard role. And because of that, I don't think Aerial Powers has a shot. However, for a lot of these other hardship opportunities that are going to be available, I could absolutely see Aerial Powers getting picked up sometime this year with some team because she is a big talent. But as I said, I think this is going to be something where the Indiana Fever are trying to look for a point guard who can make an impact right away. And again, someone like a Jaelyn Brown who could slide in right away, someone who's familiar with how this team operates because she was with them in training camp. Someone like a Grace Berger, someone who's like WNBA ready at this moment, has WNBA experience. I think it makes a lot of sense to go with one of those two players, either Jaelyn or Grace. But if you really, really, really want to hone in on that point guard aspect, I think it makes sense. I think it makes sense to have a player like a Grace Berger slot right in, right? But also, if Cheyenne's knee is okay, maybe Cheyenne Sellers as well. But I'm less high on that because I just don't think her knee is all the way ready. But yeah, probably Grace Berger. That's what I'm thinking. But we'll see. We'll see what the Indiana Fever do. And here's the deal: the Indiana Fever are not the only team. They're not the only team out there who needed to add somebody to the team. We also have Phoenix, who has joined the Haley Jones reboot. So Phoenix, on the other hand, they are a team that is winning. They are winning. They are doing great. However, this is a team that is injured, man. When we look at the Phoenix Mercury, they have a whole lot of injuries. Lofty Leah, Destiny Henderson, that's definitely somebody you can consider as well. Swap back to the last topic. But yeah, I think Destiny Henderson could be pretty interesting. Okay. All right. So let's continue. Let's continue on. All right. So let's talk about the Phoenix Mercury. They are winning. They are doing very, very, very well, but they are doing it shorthanded. Guys, Kalia Copper, Alyssa Thomas, Natasha Mack, they're all out. So what do? Well, they go out and grab Haley Jones. Now, Haley Jones was a big time draft pick a couple years ago. She came from Stanford, was a NCAA champion, was drafted by the Atlanta Dream, played for the Atlanta Dream. But after a couple of years of being the Atlanta Dream PG, they decided to waive her with the new head coach coming in and a whole bunch of stuff happening. Haley Jones ended up getting waived. And to be truly transparent, guys, I do think that was the right call for the Dream. I thought it was just time to move on from Haley Jones at Atlanta. However, here's the thing I love. Here's the thing I love about the WNBA. The WNBA is a next man up league. It's all about not just the 156 maximum players that are actually on a roster to the WNBA, but also it's about all of the other players who are WNBA quality. However, they just can't make a roster spot because there's so few roster spots in a W. And so, therefore, there is a next man up mentality where there's always a boatload of capable and talented players just waiting for their next opportunity. We saw Haley Jones get waived from the Atlanta Dream, and then just a couple of weeks later, now she is being signed. She was signed to a hardship deal with the Phoenix Mercury, and so this is giving her a clean slate and opportunity to just absolutely make her mark on the Phoenix Mercury, make her mark back in the WNBA. We'll see whether or not this is going to be her true bounce back moment or not, and hopefully it works out. I hope this all works out. Here's the deal. She did make her debut with the Phoenix Mercury yesterday. She played in 4 minutes, scoring 2 points. So not much on that front. But I do think that is pretty cool that Haley Jones is back in the league. We'll ultimately see what she is able to do in the WNBA come this season. But again, this is a time to make the most of your opportunities, okay? KH says, how long is her deal? Well, Haley Jones, if you actually look at the WNBA transaction, so according to the Phoenix Mercury social media, they say they signed Haley to a hardship contract. But according to WNBA transactions, it says that Haley Jones signed a rest of the season contract. So it seems like Haley Jones will be with this team for the rest of the season until all the other players get healthy again, and then, yeah, and then I think at that point she may get waived. But there's a bit of a discrepancy. According to the Phoenix Mercury social, it's a hardship contract, but according to WNBA transactions, she signed a rest of the season contract with the Phoenix Mercury. All right, so that is something to note. Hardship deals are typically 7 days at a time. Yes, they are typically 7 days at a time. However, teams can sign a rest of the season hardship contract if they want to. However, for Haley Jones, now again, I do. Let me actually grab the graphic and put it on here. Yeah, this is according to the WNBA website. It says that Haley signed a rest of the season contract with the Phoenix Mercury, even though there's a lot of talk about hardship contracts, even though they put out it's a hardship contract. According to transactions, it's not. But anyway, we will continue to move on. And again, guys, this is a familiar time in the WNBA. Very, very familiar. I'm going to talk through some historical stuff, mainly stuff that even happened last year and the year before that, to just walk through like why these injuries, it's not abnormal and it's not a surprise and it's not a conspiracy against one team. It's a thing that's been going on for a long, long time. Okay. Kim says, any players across the water? I mean, there's a ton of players that can be picked up by any one of these teams. There's a lot of injuries that have already happened. There's a lot of injuries that are to come, not because I'm predicting it, but because it's just how it is, And so we'll kind of see how things go from here. Jay Spade says, I am team Haley Jones and AZ Fudd all day. Okay. Yeah, pretty ugly. According to the WNBA website, it is a rest of the season contract. All right. Oh, thank you so much. I got it done. When did I get it done? Saturday. I got it done Saturday. This is why I was like, actually, we're making this this morning stream a Monday through Friday thing, because over the weekend I can get stuff done and I don't have to worry about, oh crap, I gotta do a live stream in the morning and then it takes longer to do my hair because I have to get it done in the evening instead of in the morning, and it's a whole bunch of stuff. Anyway. Tulip says the WNBA should incorporate two-way players. I mean, I've talked about that, but I mean, technically it wouldn't be a two-way player thing. It'd be a development thing. Not expand the roster, because roster expansion will make super team build super easy. Teams will just run with 12 even if they expand it to 15, maxing out their cap. Yeah, so I feel like I've said this before. In terms of my plan, I would like to keep the 12 rosters the same and then add 2 developmental players to each team. 2 developmental players where the salary is lower. However, these are players who practice with the team. They're with the team all the time. And should injuries happen, they could get elevated to an active roster member. I am full support of that. Hopefully that ends up happening in the WNBA, but we will ultimately see. Also, guys, if y'all could make sure to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button for this channel, guys. We got a lot more stuff to go through today, but if you all could make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. Okay. All All right, let's continue on, guys. Let's continue on. And this time, let's actually talk about the LA Sparks, because the LA Sparks have gotten a head start in this hardship world by signing Liatu King. So they were ahead of the curve. They ended up signing Liatu King, their third-round pick, who they previously waived. They signed her to a hardship deal, a week or so ago. And, the reason why is because for a while, LA had a lot of players down. Of course, Cameron Brink is out for a while. Ray Burrell suffered a knee injury just a minute into playing a game. You also have Rickea Jackson, who has been out. She had a concussion, and then she was out for personal reasons. We're going to talk more about Rickea Jackson in just a bit. Anyway, there's a lot of stuff, a lot of injuries and a lot of people out for the LA Sparks, and so they needed to figure out something to do. They needed to add somebody to their roster, and they did add Liatu King. And Liatu King, she is someone who was a double-double machine at times in college, and she is a very efficient scorer, can be a really good rebounder for her team, and, now she is officially on the LA Sparks roster. She's been with the team for a hot minute so far. Is this a long-term fit? I don't know. There's questions about that. But the LA Sparks did see an opportunity to add in someone who was already slotted in with this team already. Liatu King, she was very familiar with this roster. She's very familiar with the coach because she went through training camp. And so there are times where players get waived in preseason, and it's not because they're not a good player. It's just because there's not enough roster spots for them. And sometimes we see players who get cut by a team in preseason end up with that same team later in the season due to a hardship contract. All right, Liatu King so far has played in 5 games with the LA Sparks, and she's averaging around 11.8 minutes a game and 3.2 points and 2.6 rebounds. So she was the first of sorts when it comes to this these hardship contracts. Now you all may be wondering, okay, so you've talked about the Indiana Fever and how they need to add somebody. You talked about how the Phoenix Mercury have dealt with some injuries and they've added somebody. You've talked about how not yet. You talked about how the LA Sparks have added somebody. Okay, great. So we got that happening. Now let's zoom out. And let's actually talk about why we are here. Here's the deal. Hardship contracts are not out of convenience. They are out of necessities. And there are times where a hardship contract can help to transform a team. And a hardship contract player could be someone who not just doesn't play a couple minutes a game, but someone who can automatically come in and be a leader. Case in point, Odyssey Sims last season, guys. Odyssey Sims is a player that was. Oh, it just happened. Hold on, let me go through Odyssey Sims, and I'm gonna go through the breaking news that literally just happened, courtesy of Kentucky Rick. Wow, Kentucky Rick is on it. Okay. Anyway, Odyssey Sims is a player who is probably the best case of the power of a hardship contract. Last season, she was not on a roster to start the season. She was not on a roster, did not make a squad. Then in late June, when the Dallas Wings was having a whole bunch of injuries, they were down bad, and they decided to pick up Odyssey Sims on a hardship contract. And as a hardship player, Odyssey Sims played in 9 games for the Dallas Wings. Played in 9 games. Of those 9 games, she started 7 of those games. She was clearly a huge big time leader for this squad for just 9 games. And in those 9 games, she averaged 17.2 points a game, 5.6 assists per game. She was huge for this Dallas Wings team. She wasn't the only player who was big for Dallas at that time. You also had Monique Billings, who was also a hardship contract player at the time for Dallas. She was fire, absolutely fire, okay? And, you know, that's part of a hardship contract, right? A player slots in due to injury and then shows up and shows out. But once Jaelyn Brown and Maddie Seegers got healthy, the Wings ended up cutting Odyssey and Monique loose. Okay, that's the hard part of a hardship contract. It's brutal. It doesn't matter if the hardship contract player is outperforming the regular roster player. It is what it is. You got to cut them. So they cut Odyssey Sims because, well, they didn't really cut her. Her hardship contract was over. So, she's gone. Then a little while later, we ended up seeing the LA Sparks pick up Odyssey Sims on, I believe it was 3 straight 7-day hardship contracts. And then ultimately they gave her a rest of the season deal. So across 24 games, I believe, for last year, across 24 games through both the Dallas Wings and the LA Sparks, Odyssey Sims averaged 12.6 points a game, 5.3 assists per game. She shot really well from the field overall. I think it was her career high in terms of field goal percentage. And now in 2025, she earned a regular season contract with the LA Sparks because of how good she was last year. And just last night, guys, she dropped 32 points in a game against the Dallas Wings. Now, this was a game that the LA Sparks lose. However, 32 points for someone who didn't even make a roster spot last year. So the point of me saying this is to say that there is the narrative of, this WNBA player got cut, they must not be good. That's a false narrative. That's a false, because it's not true. Because you can look at examples of a player like an Odyssey Sims and be like, yeah, I don't know why she wasn't on the team. She should have been on the team, because, again, she signed as a hardship contract player and played more minutes than a lot of players who were even on the roster, right? And then you look at what she did yesterday, 32 points. 32 points for a player who wasn't even in the league to start the season last year. It just says how important hardship contracts is, and it shows how much talent is out of the WNBA. Okay? Biv says, yes, Sims is an example of roster expansion, but I bet more often that emergency players did not have this same impact. They didn't. Now, Odyssey Sims is a abnormality. Like, she is an abnormality, okay? But I wanted to just show the peak of what is possible with a hardship contract player. Okay? All right. Anyway, let's finish off this segment and we'll go into the brand new news that just broke, okay? All right. So. Let's continue on. Here's the hard truth, guys. The thing that frustrates some fans, and I get it. I absolutely get it. There is so much talent out there. There's women who can play, and they're sitting at home waiting. They're practicing every day. They're working with trainers. They're staying in shape. They're staying ready so they don't have to get ready, but they're just waiting on a call that may or may not come. It's hopeful for some of these players who get waived, but it's also very frustrating. Now you look at a whole bunch of injuries. They're part of life in the WNBA. According to the Next Hoops guys, they have an injury database that they did in 2023. I couldn't find it for 2024 or 2025 so far, but anyway, they had a injury database for 2023, and in 2023 there was 176 injuries or illnesses during that season, and the result of that was 789 games that was missed. That's a lot of games. 789 games combined of all the players who missed games. Now, the good news is that most of the injuries that happened in 2023 were minor, right? With 73% of players only missing 3 or fewer games. And the majority of the the majority of the bigger injuries were knee related, which makes sense, right? So this is a tough thing to see your team missing players, right? It's a tough thing to watch a game and see 2 players get injured in one game. However, this is not abnormal. This is not abnormal at all. There is no conspiracy against your team, no conspiracy against certain players. Injuries are a thing in the WNBA, and I wanted to put this stat out there to just show y'all truly how many injuries happen in a season, guys. In 2023, there was a maximum of 144 players in the WNBA, and we saw 176 injuries or illnesses. This is a thing, and if you don't believe me, go to the Next Hoops. They have a whole diagram of all the players who were hurt and all that stuff. They got the whole thing. So go to the Next Hoops, type in the Next Hoops 2023 injury chart, and then you'll see it there. Okay. But what I'm trying to say is that this is not new. This is not a surprise. This is how it is. I only just cherry picked 2023, but like if there's other people who have who have further years, you can go back and just see all that. It's a thing, and it's just a part of the WNBA grind. That's all it is. So, that's how it is. But now is, I think, a good time to kind of talk about the new breaking news, guys. Breaking news. I did have other stuff I wanted to talk about, but the beauty of having this channel, the beauty of doing live streams every day, every morning, is it gives me an opportunity to pivot based off of what is happening in the WNBA at this moment. And as of right now, we have breaking news out of Indiana. Breaking news out of Indiana. And I wanna create this graphic real quick because the Indiana Fever have finally signed their player. Okay, they have finally signed their Hardship contract player, and we are going to get into it. All right. And again, I had other stuff I want to talk about today, and we'll get to that. But I do want to get to the breaking news, so I do have to hijack the stream a little bit and go a slightly different route. And we'll see if we'll be able to finish off our normal agenda. But yeah, breaking news that just happened. I just want to update my stuff, let people know about it, and sorry guys, give me a hot second. Again, I do really appreciate you all for rocking with this channel. It truly means a lot. It really does. It really means a lot for your support. W. Brazil says Quita is hijacking her own stream. Diabolical she is. That's hilarious. That is hilarious, guys. Hilarious. But again, thank you for rocking with me. Yeah, apologies, guys. Though I think you all are interested in this. I think y'all are interested in breaking news that happens, right? Is that of interest, guys? Is that of interest? Hopefully it is. And again, this is the beauty. This is the beauty of having. This is the beauty of having having a stream first thing in the morning. All right, I can do stuff like this. Okay. All right. So here we go. All right, guys. All right. Breaking news. The Indiana Fever have made a decision on their next player. Here's the deal: the Indiana Fever are dealing with an injury issue right now. You got Caitlin, who's out for definitely 2 more games. You got Sydney Colson, who's likely going to be out on Tuesday for their game. You got Sophie Cunningham, who's going to be out. So you have your starting point guard, you have your backup point guard, and you have a shooting guard who has kind of been the backup to the backup, but that's not her role. So the Indiana Fever were on crunch time. We heard talk about it over the weekend from the head coach and general manager talking about the importance of getting someone in before Tuesday's game. And it looks like the Indiana Fever were able to do exactly that. And the news that just came out is that the Indiana Fever has signed Aari McDonald to their roster. Now, if y'all don't know much about Aari McDonald, don't worry about it. We're going to go through it, okay? We're going to go through Aari McDonald. But according to a Indiana Fever press release, they said the Fever have announced the signing of Aari McDonald. And I'm so happy they put the pronouncer here. It's Aari McDonald via emergency hardship exception. It says the WNBA hardship exception allows any team to sign a player with immediate effect if the team drops below 10 game eligible players at any moment, which I talked about earlier. Okay. It says over the course of her 4-year WNBA career, McDonald averaged 8.6 points a game, 2.8 assists per game, and 2.0 rebounds a game as well. McDonald spent the 2024 season with the LA Sparks, where she averaged 8.7 points a game, appearing in 26 games total. She was drafted number 3 overall by the Atlanta Dream in 2021, and she averaged 6.3 points, 1.6 rebounds, and 2 assists per game in 30 games, and was subsequently named to the WNBA All-Rookie team. And during the 2023 season, Aari McDonald helped Atlanta to qualify for their first playoff berth since 2018. So that is the press release that the Indiana Fever just put out about Aari McDonald. And this is breaking news. It literally was released about 15 minutes ago. This announcement was made. And we got what we got. Now we finally know who that player is going to be. It is Aari McDonald. A couple of things about Aari McDonald that you all should know, because she's one of those players that I was actually a big fan of when she was in college. When she was in college, she played for a team called Arizona. And to be honest with you guys, Aari McDonald, in a lot of ways, helped to put Arizona on the map. Now, I know, there's lots. Anyway, Aari McDonald, there was a time where Arizona was really, really good in women's college basketball. And that time period was, roughly around like 2018 or so, and it lasted for a couple of years. A huge part of Arizona, the college team, success was because of Aari McDonald. Aari McDonald is a small player. Like she's short, right? She is not a big player at all. She's 5'6", so not tall at all. She's not a tall player. However, she is a 5'6" guard who absolutely can be the point guard for a team, and she is someone who can be scrappy and can be a little bit all over the place, right? In college, guys, for those who are like Indiana Fever fans, or like maybe you don't know that much about Aari McDonald, let me just go through how good Aari was in college, because she was balling out of control at 5'6", short girl, very, very short, very, very short. However, the reason why Aari McDonald was picked as the number 3 pick in 2021 was because she was doing her thing. Okay, so let's go through it. Okay. she was actually a transfer. She started off at Washington. She started off her college career at Washington, then ended up transferring to Arizona, and that's when her career really just, boom, it went off, okay? As a sophomore, her first year in Arizona, she averaged 24 points a game, 6.5 rebounds as a 5'6" guard, and 4.6 assists. Now, again, I am going through Aari stats because if y'all are not familiar with her, I want to show y'all like that Aari McDonald is a hooper. She is. And yeah, she's short, but she is an absolute hooper. Okay? Let's continue on. Okay? Let's talk through it more. That was her first year in Arizona. Her second year in Arizona. Her junior year. Guys. Aari McDonald averaged 20 points a game, 5.6 rebounds. Again, she averages a lot of rebounds for being such a short player, and 3.6 assists and 2.3 steals. Then her final year in women's college basketball, her final year, she averaged 20 points a game, 4 assists per game, and 2.6 steals a game. This is someone who was able to shoot the three. And yes, Con Landing, yes, Aari McDonald helped Arizona to beat the number 1 seed UConn in the 2021 Women's Final Four. I am trying to prove a point that, like, she's not just a rando person. She's actually very, very quick. She is a very quick, crafty guard who can do a little bit of everything. In terms of her WNBA career, guys, Aari McDonald, was actually, hold on. I got a phone call from my dad. Let me mute this real quick. All right. Sorry about that. When my parents call, I have to answer. I don't have to, but I want to. Anyway. Basically, Aari McDonald's a baller. Okay? In the WNBA, she started off her career with the Atlanta Dream. And at Atlanta, she was fine. I thought she was relatively fine in Atlanta, though she wasn't as impactful as she was in college in the WNBA because of course the WNBA is different. As a rookie, she didn't play that much. She played around 16 minutes a game, but there wasn't that many rookies that was doing a whole bunch of stuff, so she ended up getting all rookie honors. Her best season, I would say, was actually her second season in the WNBA. With the Dream, where she averaged around 11 points a game. She is someone who can knock down the three pretty well. She played with Atlanta for a couple of years and ultimately ended up with the LA Sparks. And last year for the LA Sparks, I thought she was pretty good. I thought she was a pretty good player. She, again, is a scrappy player who can just find ways to get buckets, whether that's 3-point shots, whether that's getting to the rim. Of course, she's a short player, 5'6". However, she's crafty. And that's something to know. All right? That is something to know. She is a very, very crafty player. And we'll see. We'll see what happens from here. All right, maybe today is just a day of breaking news. Wow. OMG, guys. Today is the day of breaking news because Jaelyn Brown, a player who I thought maybe the Indiana Fever were going to look at, well, turns out they can't look at Jaelyn Brown because Jaelyn Brown just got signed to the Connecticut Sun. Wow. This is a here's the thing. A lot of breaking news happens on Mondays. And the WNBA, a lot of stuff happens on Mondays because the WNBA does not play, for the most part, they do not play games on Mondays. And the fact that we have had not just one, but two breaking news things is kind of wild, guys. I want to pull up that graphic real quick and talk about it because, wow. Welcome to the Connecticut Sun. Wow. Okay. Because not only did we just have the breaking news of Aari McDonald signing a hardship contract with the Indiana Fever, but also we have the breaking news that just came through that the Connecticut Sun have actually waived Robin Parks. I'm sorry. They didn't waive Robin Parks. They did waive Robin Parks, actually. Here's the deal, guys. Here's the deal. Breaking news. Again, this is a breaking news day, okay? That is what this day is all about, it seems. And aren't y'all happy y'all rocking with Quita in the mornings? Because this is how y'all getting the breaking news. And shout out to the people in the chat who are advancing in the breaking of news. It's pretty awesome. Anyway. According to the Connecticut Sun, today they have made the decision to waive Robin Parks. Robin Parks has been waived from the team. She was originally on the roster, but she was on a non-guaranteed deal, which means they can waive her at any time. Just because you make a roster spot, if you are on an unguaranteed deal, teams can waive you at any point. At any point, you are never, ever, well, eventually. At the start of the season, you are not safe. You are not safe, okay? Okay. So today, the Connecticut Sun announced that they have waived Robin Parks. She's a 6'1" forward who has not done much in her time with the Connecticut Sun, and I guess they're like, hey, you know what? You are going overseas right now, and we need somebody who can not just play while you're gone, also somebody who can help us play when you would theoretically get back. Here's the deal. Robin Parks is going to be playing for the Greece national team. She's going to be playing for the Greece national team in the 2025 FIBA Women's Eurobasket Championship. A lot of players will be going to Eurobasket, and it's up to teams to determine, is the player that's leaving good enough to wait for? Is the player leaving good enough to wait for? And clearly, the Connecticut Sun is like, actually, no, she's not good enough to wait for. So we're waiving her. All right. Our dog says, so she is only waived technically. No, she is officially waived. She is waived. She's gone. The Connecticut Sun have no rights to her anymore. All right. They have no rights to her anymore. She is officially gone from the roster. All right. Because here's the deal. There are different things that teams can do. Teams can, if a player goes overseas, they can, wait for them to come back and temporarily sign somebody as they wait for that player to return. Not a big deal. That's a thing that happens quite often. That's the thing that a lot of players will do, or a lot of teams will do, actually. Right? They'll just get somebody temporarily, and they'll keep that person, and then when they come back, they'll join them. But the fact that they are waiving. They're waiving Robin Parks. It just shows that they're like, actually, you know what? We know you're going away, but at the same time, we don't want you when you come back because you haven't made that big of an impact. Over 6 games so far, Robin Parks have only had 2 points. A total of 2 points, 9 rebounds, 2 steals, and 2 assists. It's a horrible stat line. So horrible stat line, and the Connecticut Sun are a horrible team. So they're like, you know what? We got to make some moves. We have to make some moves. And out goes Robin Parks. In comes Jaelyn Brown. That is the breaking news, guys, that Jaelyn Brown has signed a rest of the season contract. All right? We have Jaelyn Brown, who is a 6'1" guard. She was somebody who was with the Dallas Wings in 2024. Then she was signed, or she was traded to the Indiana Fever. She went through training camp with the Indiana Fever. She ended up getting waived before the regular season started. And Jaelyn Brown is now officially with the Connecticut Sun, guys. She's officially with the Connecticut Sun. She attended the University of Cal in Berkeley, and she's also been overseas quite a bit, and so that's something to note as well. Jaelyn Brown is, y'all may remember this, I believe it was preseason in 2024, where Jaelyn Brown was with the Dallas Wings, and she had a crazy preseason. Like it was a game that I think she had like close to 20-some points, and she was, at that point, she was a relatively unknown player. Like, Jaelyn Brown was a relatively unknown player. Like, a lot of people, when they hear the name Jaelyn Brown, they think of the NBA player, Jaelyn Brown. But they don't realize that there's a WNBA player who's also named Jaelyn Brown. And in preseason, in 2024, she had a big game. Big preseason game where she dropped 21 points against Indiana. I think that was the game where Arike Ogunbowale ended up dropping a dagger in terms of a last second shot that got Dallas the win over Indiana. But anyway, that was a big game, and from then on, it was a lot of talk about Jaelyn Brown. Jaelyn Brown is so good. Jaelyn Brown is a huge talent, and blah 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 blah. Then Jaelyn Brown proceeds to get hurt, and she misses the majority of the 2024 season. Now, does she play at times? Yes, she does. However, she's injured quite a bit. But now she is officially with the Connecticut Sun. So we'll ultimately see what happens from here. I think it's kind of cool to see players who get waived get a second chance in the WNBA. So again, we got two things that have broken out in terms of breaking news today. Two things. We got the Connecticut Sun, who have waived Robin Parks and have signed Jaelyn Brown for a rest of the season contract. We also have Aari McDonald, who has signed a hardship contract with the Indiana Fever. Guys, don't you just love it? Don't you just love breaking news first thing in the morning? I think it's kind of cool. Personally, I think it is kind of cool. Okay. And the Connecticut Sun, hey, might as well. And the Indiana Fever, they needed a point guard, and they got that in Aari McDonald. Okay. It's a kind of a cool thing. To note. All right. Let's see what y'all got to say in the chat. Let's see what y'all have to say in the chat. Hold on real quick. Hold on. So guys, look who just, hold on. Let me move this over. Look who just came through, guys.
Hello, everybody.
Daddy just came over. He in the building.
Let's go Sky.
Daddy, we talking about breaking news. The Indiana Fever, they just signed Aari McDonald to their roster because they got 3 players out. Caitlin's out for 2 more games. They got Sydney Colson, the backup point guard. She's out. Got a knee issue. And Sophie Cunningham is out. So 3 players out. They only got 8 players healthy on the roster. So they end up signing Aari McDonald to a hardship contract. So they got a temporary point guard for right now.
Okay. All right. So they the Fever, they want to go for it. They don't want to lose no more games since Caitlin is out and the other ones are hurt. So I don't know. Okay. All right.
Daddy came over for something else, but I was like, hey, you want to say something to the people? And Daddy will be at a Sky game this year. Don't worry, he will be at a Sky game.
Let's go Sky. Let's go, Sky.
All right, so that's all you gotta say. You don't want to say nothing.
Take it easy.
All right, guys, that was Daddy making an appearance on the channel. That was. Why do y'all find it funny the way I say Daddy? It's just how you, I don't know. I know some people say like dad or whatever. That sounds weird to me. So yeah, I've been saying it the same way my entire life. So it is what it is. It is what it is. Shamika says, celebrity guest, breaking news, new hair, what a day. I know, right? What a day, what a day, what a day. Again, guys, remember we got breaking news. We got breaking news that have happened today. To recap, these injuries are injurying, right? And also, not only do we have hardship players added, we also have someone who got cut. Robin Parks is done. She got waived from the Connecticut Sun, and now she's going to Greece. But when she comes back, she will not have a WNBA team to call home. Okay. Here's the deal. We will probably see more of this happen. Robin Parks would not be the only player to get waived. Okay, she would not be. She would not be the only player to get waived this offseason. This happens in the WNBA. It's not a abnormality. It rarely happens, but it does happen. Okay. Also, guys, remember that this is just Monday morning. Okay, we got the rest of the day to possibly see some more breaking news happen. Okay. We may see some more breaking news. Peace Love Jen says Monday is the day of fun when it comes to Quita in the mornings. I mean, I'm just saying. Yeah, it seems like it. It seems like it. Because what a day for breaking news. What a day, what a day, what a day for breaking news. All right. Now, again, remember, guys, we had an initial show fully planned. However, when breaking news hits, you gotta pivot. You gotta adjust. You got to do something slightly different. And I have had to do that in this stream, which means that there's a lot of stuff that I have not been able to even cover right now. And that sucks because we have reached the end of the stream, right? You all know I have to go about an hour a day. And I got to go, which means that now the stuff I was going to talk about, i.e. What is going on with Kia Jackson, the real recap of the real sort of synopsis of what exactly the Commissioner's Cup is, recapping all the games that happened last week, all of that stuff that I was supposed to talk about has gotten pushed to the curve, unfortunately. Not unfortunately, but I mean, I figured y'all would want breaking news as opposed to pre-prepared news that I also could say tomorrow. So hopefully that's okay for y'all. For those who are looking forward to me talking about those other topics, tomorrow I will 100% talk about it. Okay. Sorry about that. But yeah, it is what it is. When breaking news comes on this channel, I gotta talk about it. I gotta be reactive to it. Okay. So again, thank y'all so much for rocking with me. This has been Quita in the mornings because my name is Quita. We are in the mornings and we're talking about some women's hoops. But yeah, that's the news. That's the news. Jaelyn Brown with the Connecticut Sun, and Aari McDonald with the Indiana Fever. I wonder if Indiana went and talked to Jaelyn Brown and they were like, hey, actually, we want to sign you to a hardship contract, and maybe at the same time, this is speculation, fully speculation, but I just wonder if when possibly the Indiana Fever were talking to Jaelyn Brown, Jaelyn Brown was talking to the Connecticut Sun, and the Connecticut Sun said, hey, Jaelyn, we actually think we want to sign you to the rest of the season. And Indiana's like, hey, Jaelyn, we want to sign you to a hardship contract, which is 7 days. And she was probably like, actually, I'm going with the rest of the season contract. That's what I'm going for. And no, it is not 13 players on the Connecticut Sun. The reason why is because they have waived Robin Parks. So Robin Parks is not injured. She just got cut. She got cut from the team. Just because you make the regular roster for the WNBA does not mean you stay on that roster. You could get cut, especially if your contract is not guaranteed. Okay. All right. All right. Anyway, that's it. That's all I got to say. I hope y'all have a great rest of the day. And again, there's so many topics I have not got a chance to cover today. I will cover them for sure tomorrow, but I figure you all want breaking news, and that's probably the most important thing for you all, especially with this morning channel. So as other news comes throughout, I'll keep you all posted as to what in the world is going on in the WNBA, because there's always a lot of stuff going on in the WNBA. Let's not even mention college basketball as well. Like there's a lot of stuff going on in women's basketball, and so hopefully y'all feel up to date and y'all know what is happening. As y'all are leaving the channel, please make sure to hit that like button. Also make sure to subscribe to the channel as well. Tell a neighbor, tell a friend that Quita Loves Sports is on the internet talking about all things women's hoops. And let's talk about it. Let's talk about it all. All right, y'all have a good one. I'll see y'all in the morning tomorrow. Till next time, guys. Bye.